For those that don't know, I do a TV show called SAS, Who Dares Wins. And what I do with individuals, I bring them into a camp. I close those gates. Let's call it the border. Now what do I do once I've secured my camp? They feel safe. I make sure that people are safe and I start stripping them down, and then I build them back up to go out into the world and to achieve. Make them realise what they're capable of. I make them identify their true selves, who they really are. I give them an identity. What's British identity? British culture. What's British culture? British history. Why is that being eradicated? Why is that being trampled all over? Why aren't we allowed to be the umbrella culture of this country?
When did the British leadership ultimately lose control of the situation? This is a question that Katie Hopkins asks with palpable bitterness, and she isn't afraid to speak her mind. Her criticism of Keir Starmer is brutally frank. She believes that his decisions are increasingly pulling Britain away from its historical roots, which deeply concerns her. Hopkins contends that under Starmer's leadership, the country is losing its uniqueness and identity, particularly due to his lenient and indifferent approach to immigration. She openly labels Starmer as a weak leader when it comes to border protection and is unreserved in expressing her views to others. In her eyes, the borders are no longer secure, and British culture is gradually disintegrating into chaos. Her frustration and anger, unmistakable, every new decision, in her view, only exacerbates the situation rather than improving it. While Starmer may believe that everything is under control, Hopkins and many others are starting to seriously doubt whether he is truly the leader Britain needs during these turbulent times. It's time for action, not mere observation, and this realization is becoming increasingly urgent.
Breaking news here in batshit bonkers Britain, where Labour have announced that they are the party for business. And you know that because they were in a business when they announced it. Meanwhile, Angela Rayner was in a mosque saying that Labour are the party for Palestinians. So if you're a Palestinian businessman, Labour are 100% the party for you. It also explains why Diane Abbott hasn't been allowed back into the fold yet. The human calculator was last seen wearing two different shoes but for the same foot.
Hopkins doesn't merely voice her disappointment, she passionately highlights the significant cracks in leadership that are becoming increasingly evident each day. Let's recall Christmas, a time when families gather, filled with hopes and expectations for the new year. Yet, while many are enjoying festive dinners, newspapers are flooded with headlines about the unprecedented influx of migrants arriving in the UK. And Middleton, known for his serious demeanour, didn't hold back and bluntly labelled this a clear indication of leadership failure. For him, it's not just about the numbers, it's about the dire consequences of neglecting this issue. He raised a critical question about what uncontrolled borders mean for national security, cultural identity, and public trust in the government. His words resonate deeply with many who have been feeling anxious for quite some time. How can a country operate effectively if it's unclear who is entering its borders and for what reasons?
The next party that gets in is reform. We have 4 years to make that happen. British culture is British history. British history is born, this country is born on the values of Christianity. When we finally get into power. Up the reform. Thank you so much.
What you heard, from Anne, from James, and then from Ant there, some of the points about trust and integrity, our foundation of Christianity, really powerful, strong stuff you never hear from other political parties. They're embarrassed to talk about this stuff. And what I say is, actually, you've got to tell it as it is.
In response, Starmer continues to assert that he is the one capable of implementing the necessary changes, but this conviction is being put to the test. Critics like Middleton contend that Starmer's policies are merely reactive and lack the foresight and urgency needed to tackle these pressing issues. The influx of arrivals during Christmas represents more than just a border problem, it highlights a leadership that appears to be losing control and is unsure of how to manage the situation. This wave of discontent reaches beyond politicians and journalists, resonating deeply with ordinary citizens. They pose difficult questions. Why isn't the government taking more decisive action? Why do we witness these surges at critical times? Each unanswered question only deepens the growing sense of distrust and despair that is sweeping across the nation.
What you'll get, you can ask for somewhere to live, a cash allowance, or both as an asylum seeker / illegal immigrants. Housing, you'll be given somewhere to live if you need it. This could be a flat, a house, a hostel, or bed and breakfast. I do hope they give illegals breakfast in bed. After all, they've earned it, what with coming across the channel on a lilo. Cash support, you'll get £37.75 for each person in your household. What a bargain. That will be loaded onto a debit card and you can get your cash from a cash machine. How lovely. If you've been refused asylum, so these are people that have no right to be here, you'll still be given somewhere to live and £35 per person on a payment card. I mean, why not? Now, if you're preggers, it gets even better. If you're a pregnant mum, you can get £3 extra. If you've got a baby under 1, £5 extra. I mean, children are just a real bonus if you're an illegal.
Middleton emphasized that this situation is both unstable and perilous. He cautioned that without implementing drastic measures, the country risks losing its unique and irreplaceable qualities. Katie Hopkins took a moment to back Middleton's perspective, pointing out that Starmer's solutions appear to only worsen the existing issues rather than resolve them. She posed a valid question: why, despite the mounting challenges, does Starmer remain so confident in his ability to guide the country in the right direction? Her criticism extended beyond immigration, addressing the larger context of chaos that has emerged under his leadership.
Those values have worked for years, centuries and centuries to get us where we are today. The moment we lose our identity, guess what we lose? Our purpose, our focus, our direction. When I look at the borders, I'm almost disgusted that our Royal Navy, the best Navy in the world, no shadow of a doubt, we have the best Navy in the world, are being put on the back burner, not allowed to do their jobs. Wow. The best Navy in the world aren't allowed to do their job, i.e. protect our waters. Of course, I haven't got a secure camp. We haven't got a secure camp because we don't know who's coming in. They're certainly not benefiting the environment, they're certainly not adhering to the rules and regulations, and they're certainly not benefiting us as a nation. Yes, we are accepting, yes, we will bring everyone under that umbrella. Adhere to our rules and regulations, respect our culture, you can come in and play. Remember, identity!
The holiday season is swiftly drawing to a close, and the pressure on Starmer intensifies with each passing day. The public is watching the situation with bated breath, eagerly awaiting and demanding real, tangible solutions. How long can he keep afloat on empty promises when people are calling for change right now? Questions surrounding immigration and leadership are becoming increasingly urgent, and Middleton delivered a speech that left many deeply shaken. Middleton didn't just offer criticism, he boldly and candidly assessed the current state of the UK and called for essential changes. His words resonated beyond politics, touching on the very essence of the nation, highlighting that many feel their identity is slipping away. Middleton was unflinching in his remarks about the erosion of boundaries, both physical and moral. For him, it's not just about who enters the country, but also about what the UK represents. He believes that the lack of control reveals a deeper issue: the leadership has lost touch with its responsibilities and with the people it serves.
Maternity payment, you can apply for a one-off £300 maternity payment if your baby's due in 8 weeks. Makes all the more sense to bring pregnant women along for the ride over the channel, doesn't it? If you've been refused asylum, you can apply for one-off £250 maternity payment for the baby we said couldn't come here, and you who aren't supposed to be here, who's also living in a house because we gave you that and now we're giving you money. And you can get healthcare, free NHS service, see a doctor or go to a hospital. You get free prescriptions for your medicine, free dental care for your teeth. How lovely. Free eyesight tests and help paying for glasses. You can get education for your children. That will be free, and they can get free school meals. This is what we're publicising for illegals as to what they can get from day one when they land in this country, and even if their asylum process is
Middleton's speech resonated not only for its content, but also because it expressed frustrations that many people feel but seldom hear articulated so clearly and openly. It was more than just criticism, it was a compelling call to action. Hopkins answered this call by broadening her critique of Starmer's vision, or rather, his lack thereof. Together, Middleton's address and Hopkins' remarks underscore a leadership vacuum that is becoming increasingly evident. The message is unmistakable: change is not just necessary, it is more urgent than ever. Will Starmer grasp this pressing hint, or will the pressure continue to mount until the country teeters on the edge of a crisis? What are your thoughts on this video? Share your opinions in the comments. See you next time.